from Atlanta, Fulton County.
But one objective.
Sitting, I wonder to myself, what are we becoming? Grind her whole waistline down on her baseline. She wanna waste time, she cannot waste mine. I need her, pour up a cup, I need her, show her some love. She wanna roll one up, she always know I got buzz. She know I'm the plug, it's like I'm the one. Can't be a husband, that's not a discussion. We just be fucking it up, she like to fuck after the club. I was trying to take it slow, she just take off all her clothes.
Man, hello and welcome to Former Mama's Boy. It is good to see you guys again, man. We're out here in beautiful Oklahoma. A change of pace and a change of scenery from Dallas, Texas. I'm out here on vacation with my friends. Had to just come out to just a new place and refresh, new scenery, be around some people I love, get closer to them, build connections, all that good stuff. So one of the four things that I always tell you, one, get community. Because if you do not have community, what do you have? As a man who is aspiring to become a former mama's boy, as a man who is aspiring to become a great leader, you have to get yourself around great men. Also get yourself around great women, but we focusing on the man. There's women here too, don't get me wrong. I got guys and girlfriends. So I guess at the end of the day, I just want y'all to have great relationships with both genders. Second, thirdly, and fourthly, I hope you got some joy, some water, and some movement in you today, because all three of those things will do you good, man. Just like everything else, and as always, we have a point with these episodes. So today, I want to talk to you guys about something that affects me, affects all men, has been on my heart. This is the concept of love versus lust, right? These two emotions, these two actions, these two entities, concepts, whatever you want to call them, they sometimes can feel like they are the same thing or even different sides of the same coin. And I do think there is a reason for that. I think simply put it, man, I feel like you can have love with lust, but lust doesn't always come with love, if that makes sense, right? And just to explain that, first of all, I'm gonna go back. One of the hardest reasons that these two things are hard to discern between each other, especially in the beginning of relationships, is because they elicit a lot of the same responses in us that the other emotion does. So for example, having passion for somebody, the apple of the eye, having an attraction for somebody, all these receptors in our brains go off, and it can be hard to distinguish whether, hey, is this lust or is this love? So I kind of want to direct us today as men and kind of help you guys a little bit on discerning those things, because one of the biggest things that we need to do as men, and this is every man, this is something that every man struggles with, is the thing in between their legs. Men, we need to have dick discipline. We need to not just automatically see something that we want and want to fuck it. I'm just being real with y'all. Control what's in between your legs, because this dude right here will lead you to ruin. And a lot of the times we can get messed up in our head when we see a pretty lady, especially if she's pretty, nice, feminine, and friendly, giving us attention. We automatically think we in love when really we just being lustful. And it's crazy because being lustful doesn't always mean I want to have sex. Being lustful doesn't always mean that you want to F-U-C-K. So today's episode, I want to help distinguish that in us of what does lusting after a woman look like and what does truly and properly loving a woman look like. So come on this journey with me, guys.
Strap out your leg and put your mask back on. But that doesn't make you what you were.
Listen, you're afraid that if I go back out there, I'll fail.
This hurt. Bro, this hurt. Damn.
I'm afraid.
First of all, lust. With lust, the main focus of lust is primarily physical attraction and sexual attraction, right? The duration of lust is very much short term. That's why we wake up in the morning when we want a girl, and then when we have sex with her or when we're bored with her, when she don't look as good as we want her to look, we get over her because it's not lasting. It's for a short-term duration. The primary motivation of lust is for self-gratification. It is only for our fulfillment. Again, I think this is also why we have things like post-nut clarity, not the concept of that, but everything that happens before it, right? We don't really want this girl, but we can convince ourselves that we do. We can convince ourselves that this is the only person we want, and in turn, we can even try to convince her that this is what we want, is that we want her. And I'll give y'all a little story, man. Just in past relationships, I kind of had to realize this about myself when it came to lust. I would say anything or do anything just to make sure that that girl got in my bedroom. And then once we get this post-nut clarity that we all like to laugh about and talk about, right? I'm sitting there laying next to her and I'm like, dang, I don't want anything to do with you. You know, in the first few times, you really don't think much about it. You kind of get in the mood. You kind of just happy that you having sex in general. But it weighed on me after a while, just to be like, man, I'm only using this person for what their body can offer me, right? Another thing with lust is there is no, I don't know about this one. I was gonna say there was no personal connection, but I do think when it comes to sex, you do form a bond, regardless if you think so or not. But the concept of lust by itself, it isn't about emotion. Like I said, it's just about personal self gratification. It's about getting what you want, any means necessary, right? I know a lot of us face this. There's a book or a program, it may be both. It's called Every Man's Problem. And it's like this is ingrained in us. And I don't even think it's the concept of lust to begin with. It's the concept of, what does the Bible tell us? Be fruitful and go multiply, right? Like, God has put in us as men that we go out and get it, that we go out and hunt, that we go out and procreate, that if we want something, we need it. So I don't necessarily think lust is a bad thing. I think it has its place, like many other things in this world does. But I think the problem that comes with it is the fact that there is no emotion, is the fact that there is only self-gratification, that is selfish in nature, that when I'm lustful, I'm not really looking for the best interest of you. I'm just seeing how you can get me off. Those are the bad things of lust. Let's talk about love. All right, I got to be quick with this next one because the crew we about to go on a hike. We're going to talk about love next, man. And even though love can be sort of the same coin as lust, there are a few key differences. So first of all, the thing about love, man, and I would say one of the biggest factors about love is it takes time to grow, right? You don't just fall in love with somebody over the span of a day. So if you ever in a relationship and you feel like, oh man, I just love this person, it's probably called limerence, it's probably called a fascination, and it's probably called obsession. Trust me, guys, this is something, as a man trying to make it and discover his path, this is something that I've had to deal with. You get that cute girl, especially if you're a dude who doesn't have women talking to him a lot, and you're like, dang, it's like all the stars have finally aligned, and she likes me, and you kind of fall in love, or not love, you kind of fall in limerence. That's not love. Love takes time. Love involves action. Love involves reciprocation. So it may sound selfish, but in order for you to fall in love with somebody, they have to be showing you why you should be in love with them. Don't fall in love with people who are doing jack-ish for you. I don't care if it sounds selfish. That's the biggest thing, bro. We give our hearts out and we pour our hearts out to another person because we're actually in lust with them. We're actually in infatuation with them. We're fantasizing about them. We think it's love, and then we get ourselves hurt, man. So I would say one of the biggest differences between lust and love is that love takes time, bro. It's about affection, care, and respect. And also there is a deep, loving connection that takes place. It's all about intimacy with love. And when I say intimacy, I'm not talking about physical intimacy, right? And this is why I suck at this game, just to let you know. This is why these things can take time. This is why these things can seem like they are each other. When it comes to affection and intimacy with love, this isn't just about physical. When it comes to intimacy with lust, it's about physical. But when it comes to intimacy about love, it's about a deep emotional connection that, again, takes time. This is about a person who not only knows your body, they know your mind, they know your spirit, they know everything about you, bro. That's the type of person who will come home with your favorite snack because they know it's Tuesday and they know you love to snack on Tuesday after a hard day. This is the type of person who cleans up the way you like it, even though necessarily they don't like it, because they know that you like your house and your room in particular ways. This is the person that will stay up with you. This is the person who will drive an hour to you just because you're crying, just because you're distraught. This is the person who will come and save you when you need to be saved. That's love, man. A lot of us haven't really felt it. That's the crazy part. A lot of us think we have, but we really haven't. And I think this goes into my last topic about this, about what's the difference between love. You know, we talk about how really lust is very selfish, where love is the opposite, right? Love is about self-sacrifice. Love is about sacrificing your comfort, your emotions, your time, your everything for the pursuit of another person. That's probably the biggest difference, or the second biggest difference, man, besides time, is that if you're willing to sacrifice this person, I mean true sacrifice, to where you'll become you'll become unproductive, you'll become uncomfortable, you'll have less because you're sacrificing for this person. That's love, man. And you know it's love when it's reciprocated. You know it's love when there is no, what is it called? There's no contention after the fact, after you've made that decision, man. So, about to get on here. We're going to bring in a special guest. I got some of my homies, some of the bros. I'm going to ask them what their opinion about this subject is, just so that you don't get some dude bumbling in the woods. Because I try to script these things out, but it never seems to work. I just like to free throw and get you guys' opinion. So let me know. Come on. Come on.
Hello?
Over the past few weeks, I have been thinking and holding back. I think que tenemos que hablar, pero que sean personas.
You say that I don't like you enough, oh. You say that I don't like you enough, oh. No matter what you say, I never get over you. You're so enticing when you're doing all the things that you do. Oh, is this love? Is this love?
Just so we can see, make sure it don't, because the battery low. All right. Man, all right, guys. Had to go grab my friend. It's actually the next day since we went on that hike, since I left you guys last. But you know, on Former Mama's Boy, we like to talk to other men and get their opinion. So I got my brother here, Andrew. Great dude, great videographer, got a good spirit and a sound mind on him. So I just wanted to get your opinion, brother, on some things, man. And I guess my first question is, the topic of this video is love versus lust. And I just really want to get your thoughts on that when you first hear about it. Like, what's the difference between love and lust, or what's kind of your first view on that topic, if you will?
Ooh. In strong, okay.
You got to, man.
Okay, well, yeah. Love versus lust. Yeah, I think there are some thin lines you kind of have to balance at times, especially when it comes to lust, because it can be you can easily fall off that line. And I think, we talk about having attraction for women and how that's a natural part of just being a man. But if goes unchecked, it can easily fall into lust. And
Right.
so it's a tricky balance to that. But I think going from an attraction, I think that's what it is. So if it starts as an attraction, and whether you check that feeling of that attraction, it can either go to lust or it can go to love, kind of just depending on how you go about it. And so, yeah, I would say you just have to be mindful of those things. Lust can be detrimental to you, um, and that's when you find. I think that's when you can find yourself doing things out of character,
Mm.
um, and so it's important to really just always be mindful of how those feelings are, and lead it down the path of love instead of lust. I don't know if that kind of starts to answer the question, but
Yeah, I think everybody has kind of a different opinion on it, and
mm-hmm.
I want to get your opinion. So I don't think there's necessarily a. I think there was a wise answer. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer. I
Mm-hmm.
think you definitely gave a good one. What do you think are some of the? You talk about you have attraction, and attraction can lead to love, and attraction can lead to lust. What do you think is the deviation? Like, what do you think is the deciding factor for that deviation of those things? Like, what can I do to make sure that the path of love happens, and what do we do to make sure or fall into the path of lust? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I would think it's a heart thing.
Mm.
Um, Lust is all about it's all a physical
Mm-hmm.
attraction, and if, like I said, if you let it go and check, if you only finding if you're only finding yourself lusting after someone for their physical attraction, then then that's where it's lust. But if you find the attraction there, and you want to deepen the connection you have with that person, you want to get to know their heart, um, who they are as a person, their character, morals, values, and everything like that, uh, then it can develop into love.
Mm.
And I think that's kind of where that deviation is. Where, so I guess to put it simple, lust is it just stops at the physical attraction,
Mm.
where it's just um, sex appeal
Mm-hmm.
and all that. But love is a deeper connection with the person. It
Yeah.
goes beyond the physical attraction, um, and you get to know the person for who they are, not just what they look like.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
Mm. Nah, I don't think I do.
Mm.
Um, because if we're talking about love versus lust, and love being getting to know somebody beyond just their looks, then that takes time to
Mm-hmm.
develop, and so I don't think I don't think you can fall in love with someone on first sight. I think you can have a very strong physical attraction to
Yeah.
somebody at first sight. That much for sure. Um, but all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
yeah.
things that come after it to make a long, healthy, loving relationship, I think takes time to develop.
Mm.
Um, I think like you said, a lot of times we can get caught up in the beginning stages
Mm-hmm.
of a relationship where we feel like we really love someone, um, but I think the funny part of that is that a lot of times in the beginning of relationships, when we do feel that way, later on we realize just how little we actually know about someone,
Yeah.
and it was just a lot of exactly what it was, just feelings.
Yeah.
But it wasn't love, and I've had to ask myself that before
Mm.
in like relationships where like love is involved or introduced to it, and I've had to actually ask myself like, well, what is love?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then evaluate after actually understanding what love means to me, then evaluating that relationship. Like, okay, so then if that's what love is, does this relationship reflect that?
Mm.
Do we um, include those things in there? And so um, I think when you can ask those questions, you quickly start to realize maybe we're not all it is to be. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Our friends just got back. Your last word of advice for men around the world when it comes to this topic. How would you like to encourage the boys?
Some words of advice. I would say be patient.
Mm.
be patient in getting to understand who you are, and take the time to get to know that. Be intentional about getting to know who you are as a person, and forming your own identity to build a foundation on, and be confident in to basically present yourself to the world. And I think that's a lot of times where guys can do things out of character because they don't have that sense of identity. And so I think if we could take some more time to just understand who we are as a person, to build the confidence in who we are, then yeah, so that's kind of my advice. Just be patient and be intentional about who you are.
Well, guys, I hope y'all found something in this, in our quick discussions and my rambling. The goal of this is just to get y'all to think and hopefully become better men that can grow and lead society and understand these topics and not just the sheep.
Yeah.
Like so many men and people just in general are. We're trying to become godly men, former mama's boys. Enjoy y'all. Hope this is a recording. I love y'all guys. Appreciate my brother.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Y'all be good.
From Atlanta, Fulton County.
But one objective.